Hey everyone, this is LuckySevenDX, and welcome to a brand new LP. A few people have been requesting this one, although I'm actually LPing it for a few different reasons. I've been wanting to LP it since I ever got the game. Okamiden from Capcom, the sequel to Okami, except it's on the DS, because it's kind of like Final Fantasy XII, where it started on the PS2, and then it ended up on the DS for some strange reason for its sequel. You know, just completely abandoning platform ties, I suppose. But actually, the DS is a great place to have Okami, because obviously, you have the touchscreen, and that really does make the whole... I'd put this game on par with Okami. Quick difference, by the way, between Old Hand and Greenhorn. Greenhorn, I believe you're going to find that one difference from Okami is that you will have a timer on your drawing, and I'm pretty sure Greenhorn doesn't have that timer, whereas the Old Hand does, or something like that. No, actually, I think also Greenhorn can regenerate ink pots. It's one of those two. I actually forget the details, but I know I'm going to play on Old Hand, obviously, because I'm not a pansy. So, basically, yeah, I'm just going to be rude like that, apparently. No, I'm going to play the game, not on easy mode. I'm going to play it on the normal mode, which is be Old Hand, because I've already played Okami. I've played this game a few times. I think I know how to handle myself. Really, all it means is you need to sort of, manage your ink pots better, because unlike Okami, yours don't regenerate, which is, I think, an improvement. I think it's interesting to make it a little more challenging to have that in. Okami versus Okamiden. Well, one of the reasons... We'll just go ahead and tell the story. Basically, tell the story while the story goes. I mean, this is just recapping Okami, so if you haven't played Okami, pay attention, because this is like, the story of Okami. Just the recap and all that jazz. But one of the reasons I really chose to LP this game is it kind of needs a video walkthrough. Like, this is like one where it's both I like the game a lot, and it would be a good game to LP, and it's just something I feel like, I want to be able to have a helpful guide out for this, because the biggest flaw of this game, it's such a pet peeve of mine, is there are missable things, which you can only get if you do a New Game Plus afterwards, because there are a lot of areas where, after you progress to a certain point, you won't ever be able to go back there, ever. So you have permanently missable items, which in this day and age is just a tragedy to have, because there's no reason to have things like that. But there isn't that in the game, and there's a lot of small little details you need to get, so... I think this. I really want to make a good video guide to show out how to get everything you need. I won't say 100% necessarily, because I might miss a treasure or two, but I'm going to get everything you need to get all the New Game Plus extras, which are really badass, by the way. So everything you need to get, like, all the really cool stuff at the end, I'm going to get all of those, show off the game like that, and, all will be well. So, yep, that's basically, my spiel for why I'm choosing this game. Also, I'm really excited, it's a really good game. In terms of story, I'd say it's on par with Okami. There's just, a few issues like that one that's a bit iffy, and there are some pretty low points in this game's plot. It does pick up. It's very much like Spirit Tracks, where it kind of starts a bit but as you go more and more in the game, I feel like it builds, it gets a bit more epic, and really good. The combat does feel a lot better, too, with the whole touchscreen. Just the whole gameplay seems better. The story is on par. It's just, things like that really, and just like, the whole shrunken scope of everything, because, it's on a DS instead of the PS2 or the Wii. That's what makes, I guess the difference. That's why I say Okami is equal to Okamiden. I think they're both really great games. But, new LP, guys, as usual, post-commentary. Just go ahead and get that disclaimer over with. And, for the most part, I think I've, pretty much discussed, all the stuff. Like I said, this is just the Okami plot. I guess I can give a brief recap if you were paying attention to me instead of the thing. Basically, a long time ago, and this is actually important though, because the Okami plot, one of the things I like about Okamiden is it really builds on the Okami plot. It actually fills in a lot of gaps in the Okami plot, and just fills in a lot of minor details that weren't necessarily there before. Which is really awesome. So it does build up a lot on the Okami plot. There's kind of like two sections of the game. One is like, its own story, and then, the other section of the game, it builds on the Okami story. So it's kind of interesting how that works. But basic plot, because you will need to know this for later. Was it 1,000 years ago or 100 years ago? I think it was 100 years ago. This wolf named Shiranui and this swordsman named Nagi basically defeat Orochi and save the world from darkness. 100 years later, the resurrected version of Shiranui, which is Amaterasu, the god. As you can see, it says god, and then they left to the heavens afterwards. But her and the descendant of Nagi, Susanoo. If I'm saying these names wrong, by the way, just ignore it. and they defeat Orochi again and Yami, the ruler of darkness, and save the land from that. And then Amaterasu heads to the heavens, so she's no longer here anymore. You know, the typical "I saved the world, you don't need me anymore" sort of thing. But 9 months later, stuff happens, and now we're getting into the Okamiden plot. We're done with the recap, which is perfect timing. I'm done with my little spiel. And yes, this intro cutscene is going to be most of the video. But all of a sudden, darkness goes to this mysterious shrine grave thing. Whose grave is this? Well, that's actually something we're going to be finding out quite a bit later. But basically, darkness is back, and it's going to take over. It only took 9 months. Jeez, Amaterasu, you did not do very well in ridding the world of darkness. Just saying. As you can see already, darkness is rapidly going to be spreading across the land. You'll recognize a lot of these locations from Okamiden. This is the capital city. I forget the name, actually. I'm not very good of details. I don't have very good memory for details necessarily. But it's the capital city of the game. And here's Ryoshima Coast, I believe. You'll be seeing a lot of these locations later in the game. It doesn't have all the locations Okami did. There's actually one major section that is completely cut out and not in this game. I actually forget the name, but it's like where you get it's the one. It's like where the second quote unquote dungeon is in Okami. That whole field and that whole village is just not even in this game. Because, you know, size limitations and all that, they couldn't do that much, I suppose. That is one of the flaws compared to Okami, is this game is smaller in scale. That's necessarily a bad thing either, but, I mean, it's kind of unfortunate that there are a lot of things that are actually left out from that. I guess Okami is, in the end, a grander story, a grander game on scale. But for a handheld game, this is pretty darn good. Anyway, Issun's back. He was the original partner in the original Okami, and now he's a Celestial Envoy, which means he spreads the word of the faith, and because faith is what powers the gods in this game. Interesting system, I suppose. Very based in Japanese culture in this game, and, you know, even the whole art style is, you know, very Japanese in style, which is really awesome. I always thought that the art style of this game was really great and unique, and I love games that, you know, try to push the border of, you know, new styles, and just it's really cool. I really like it. So basically, this little girl, she's a minor character. Her plot's gonna kind of you'll see that there's actually a plot around her. A little, not necessarily side quest because it is part of the main quest, but, you know, like a side story of sorts. But we're going to get into that later. What's more important is where we are. This is a completely new village, started in the last 9 months, which I completely forgot the name of the village. Oh my goodness, I'm so bad with details and names. You know, it starts with a Y. We'll see in a little bit. But basically, this village is going to be the big side quest of this game that we're dealing with. Because, of course, you know, there are going to be a lot of side quests to do. And by a lot, I mean mostly this one. And then a few other ones to get a few minor things. The scope of the game in terms of like weapons and stuff like that isn't as big. There's only you have the same 3 types of weapons as you get before, which you'll find. But we're not gonna get many different kinds of weapons. There's only gonna be like 3 of each kind, so the weapon scale is a lot less. They sort of just do other things with that as well. In terms of the brush skills, as we're gonna see, most of them are back, but the ones that are not here are actually replaced by new ones that are just as cool. So. And there's a whole new mechanic in this game that sort of makes up for it, so you're gonna see how it works when we get to all this stuff. I know it's kind of like, you know, first video stuff where I have to sort of explain, you know, all the. I'm sort of doing a comparison of Okami and Okamiden, I guess, just to get you guys knowing what's coming, I suppose. You know, getting a sense of the style of game that this is compared to Okami. Anyway, Issun's bummed out by the fact that, you know, everyone's lost faith in 9 months because they're just crazy. And then he lies down because, you know, I love that he's just like such a little guy. He's not really a bug. He's just a little dude or something like that. I forget the whole deal with that. But whoa, it's Demon. What's up, Demon? How's it going? So of course, Issun's in trouble. I don't think he could hope to fight 2 giant demons, being a little small little dude. But luckily for him, apparently there's still more text to go for. So apparently he's not gonna be lucky for a little bit. But no, Ame did not take care of everyone. That's his nickname for Amaterasu. There we go. He gets rescued by the main character of this game. Meet Chibiterasu. He's basically a chibi version of Ame. He's basically the little version of Ame, because, you know, we got a little system, so they made a little version of the main character. But basically, I guess we should go over combat, because we're immediately jumped directly into a fight with the most basic kind of enemy, obviously, the green imps. They're not a very threatening sort of enemy. we have a health bar, which, you know, obviously if you lose your health bar, you're dead. As you can see below, the enemies have health bars there. I'm not going to necessarily show the health bars on there that much. Well, actually, I'm not sure what I'm going to do for combat, if I'm going to show the health bars or not. I'll make a decision, obviously, for that. But basically, B jumps, B jumps, Y will attack, and those are your basic two attack commands for now. Obviously, there'll be more things we could do in battle, but for now, those are the only two we have to worry about. Once they get gray, that means they're weakened. They're kind of stunned. They won't do damage. Am I gonna? No. Wow. First fight in the game, and I already lost my out of money. You'll get money and obviously health and other stuff. Wow. Say the word stuff correctly. When you win battles, you'll get money and stuff, and you also get grade on your performance and get bonus money for doing that. The money in this game, it's not really too pressing. It's not nearly as pressing as it was in Okami. There are very expensive things to buy, but over the course of the game, you should end up getting enough money pretty quickly to buy what you need to when you need to do it. So don't worry about grinding money that much, or worry about, you know, doing the fights perfectly. You usually have enough money to get by, and certainly by the end of the game, you'll be able to buy everything you need to. It's just a matter of, I guess, how early you can buy the cool stuff. Which, considering what I'm going, I know a good order in which to buy things. I'll be able to, you know, I'll be able to buy the more useful things first, at least. Anyways, so we're going to learn our first brush skill, because basically Chibi is, well, I'm not going to actually spoil it, although it's going to be pretty, I guess it's pretty obvious, but also I'm going to call him Chibi, which is awesome. Also, it's a he. Amaterasu is a girl, and Chibi is a guy. So we get to say we have a little guy dog, Chibiterasu, which is such an awesome name. His name actually is like he gets a lot of different names throughout the whole game, and it's actually kind of a running gag, as you'll see soon enough. But we're going to use our Celestial Brush skills. You activate them using the L or R button, and then the screen will switch to the bottom screen, and from there we'll be able to, you know, draw whatever thing we need to with the stylus, which is pretty easy. There's two ways to do it. You can either hold it down and let go, or you can just tap once. I think the tap once is actually easier, but it's really up to preference. So what we're going to do is our first skill, which will, because we're basically, Amaterasu is the sun goddess, we have the power to bring out the sun. So we're going to do just that by drawing a circle in the sky, just like that. Isn't that a pretty circle? It looks more like a rectangle. Luckily, this game is very, very generous with your drawing. I mean, you'll be able to, obviously you're gonna have to, you know, do the correct symbol, or else it might misinterpret it as something else, but in general, it'll be pretty lenient for what you want to do, and it'll do it. Which is kind of a problem I had with Okami for the Wii, is there's some motions that were just, like, painstakingly hard to do. Namely, crossing out the lists in the bounties. Oh my god, I just wasted so much time just trying to get straight lines, which I just could never do in that game. So I do like this because the whole drawing system is just so much easier than it is on the Wii or the PS2. Although I never played the PS2 version, but I'd assume a stylus would be better than a control stick. Anyways, it turns out Chibiterasu is the son of Ami. And as Issun hints, who's the father? No one will ever know. And also, you know, why was this... I don't know, it's kind of a willow red, it just suddenly has a son, but basically, it's like we're playing as Amaterasu from Okami. There's very little difference in how they work, except for the fact that because, you know, he's younger, he's gonna have, you know, the whole, that's the logic behind why he can't regenerate ink pots, and why there's a time limit for how long you need to draw, and stuff like that. So, you know, I guess the whole logic behind that is based off of that. But otherwise, you know, he plays pretty much similar to Ami. Similar powers and stuff like that. I mean, also means this also explains, you know, why he's not fully powered up. Why you need to power him up again. So, I guess that's how it works. It's pretty much the same attitude. Ami was famous for being lazy and sort of uncaring and just sort of doing her own thing, and he's very similar to that, which is pretty nice. I always like the character interactions. I mean, your main character is a dog, and yet there's so much. It still is able to convey so much personality, which is really cool. Anyway, we have our ink pot bar, which will show how much ink we have. You lose half a pot per each use of a thing. So basically, because we used one, you know, we lost half of one of our little bar things. So basically, for now, we have 6 uses pretty much before we run out of power. Once you run out of power, especially in battle, it's not a good thing because you'll actually lose your main weapon. You have to fight without your weapon, which is kind of bad. So you do have to manage your things very well. Anyways, I'm going to go over the menu screen quickly before we get going here. Page 1 is your tools here, which you can access your items, which you can also record shortcuts where you can just touch them and access the items without using the menu. So that's what I quickly did there. You can also access your key items. You don't obviously have anything yet, considering we just started the game. You can access your weapons and also your demon parts, which will be used to upgrade our weapons, and trinkets, which we'll be getting later in the game that'll add extra stuff to our characters. They have those in Okami as well. Here's our map. I'm not going to really make much use out of the map because I kind of know how the layouts of everything works. I'm never really one for maps anyway. Here's your scrolls, so those are all the different drawing techniques we have. And then this one's just a whole plethora of things. Most of these scrolls and the history that you'll see in the lower right corner, those are just a bunch of text things, a bunch of flavor text. I'm going to go over all of those in an extra video at the end of the project. So I'm not going to have you read most of these things now. That's also going to include the text for the treasures, the manifests I can show off because those are actually part of the quests. These antique guides and the treasures, these are actually crucial. Those are the collectibles we're going to need to get, as well as all the enemies that we have here. Basically, in order to get 100%, you need to fight every enemy in the game, which is all going to be recorded here. And some of those are missable, so you have to be careful and make sure you fight every enemy. All the masterpieces we're going to have to get, which are just items you'll find in treasure chests around the world. There's 50 of those. And you'll actually get presents for every 10 you complete. Because there's basically 5 masterpieces, and you get them all in 10 parts each. And every time you complete a masterpiece, you'll actually get a pretty good reward for it, so those are really important to get too. And if you get one of every treasure in the game, that's also going to give you a reward for doing that. So I need to get all 3 of those, and then you'll be able to get a lot of good rewards to New Game Plus. Anyways, another fun fact, I suppose, is that normal people cannot see the stripes. So he just looks like an adorable little puppy, which, he's adorable, although I like his markings better. He just looks pretty badass like that. I am a badass dog, not some wimpy white dog. I don't know, it's almost disturbing to be just white. I don't know. Kind of like, I don't know. It just seems he just seems so barren when he's just white. I don't know. Just sort of disturbs me for some reason. Anyway, like I said, girls are going to be important later, but she's not going to be very important for now. Really, for the rest of this video, I'm just going to wander around. I'll use A to open up treasure chests. I'm going to be a little bit button confused until I figure out, how I'm actually doing this. We also get this. This will refill 3 ink pots. I'll record those in the shortcuts as well. The other one that I record will restore 3 hearts, or not hearts, but suns, whatever the health thing is, I don't know. So basically your controls are, A is your little, open things, examine things button, and then B and Y are still your jump and attack buttons. And then of course L and R will always access your brush. So those are the basic controls of the game. X does do something, but we don't have what we need to do for X yet. So that'll be explained when we actually can. Not much we can do in this village. I'm just sort of wandering around and introducing everyone because this village is a very big key to the major side quest of the game. So basically what's going on here is Yakushi Village or something like that. Something village, doesn't say. Basically we need to build this village by basically finding people who want to move here and giving them the map to move here. So we're going to populate this village from people we find all across the world of Nippon, which is the name of the world around here. We're going to populate the village. Also, another thing, I'm just going to kind of interrupt myself for a second. Another sort of flaw for this game is you notice there's a lot of screen transitions. You'll find that even in areas that were, just one giant area in previous games, like the giant fields, they're going to be segmented into sections like this, which sucks because that means there is, a bit too many loading screens. I can see why they might have had to do that, I suppose. But yeah, here's one of the major characters in the village. This is Dr. Redbeard. Yeah, it's the Yakushi Village. See, I'm good. But basically, we're going to populate the village, and we're going to be getting a lot of rewards for this. We're talking like, it's going to help us get weapons. It's going to help us get, hidden items and stuff like that. Help us get masterpieces and antiques to fill up our lists that we're going to need for the end of the game. So basically, this village is the crux, I suppose, of all the side quests we need to do. And I will be showing off every villager, getting every villager in here, doing that whole process. I don't think you need to get everyone to get 100%, but you need to get a lot of them. So I'll be showing off everyone you can get. Although you're supposed to, you can recruit people and animals. The animals don't count for the rewards, unfortunately, if I remember correctly. Also back there, that was a save. There was a Origin Mirror. Those are your save points. They also heal you fully, both your ink and your suns. It's kind of weird to say instead of like health and mana or something like that, or health and SP. But your suns and your ink. Yeah, that does feel weird. Anyway, like I said, for the rest of the video, I'm just sort of exploring this village because it is a key part I won't go to some areas because some of those areas are just going to be, there's nothing there right now, so I won't bother going there yet. But other than that, and here we go, see, we're kind of getting introduced to the bringing people here side quest. We're not going to have to do any of that now, there's really no one to bring over here for a while, but eventually we're going to get into that, and we'll be able to get some prizes from that. And they're good prizes, like I said, so worth doing, I suppose. So many loading screens, but that is sort of a necessary part of this game, unfortunately. But that's pretty much going to be the end of this episode, guys. As Issun said, if we need to figure out why there's demons coming everywhere, I'm just going to also introduce this one character over here. He's building the houses with that here. Not really a major character, but he's cool anyway. So yeah, we need to find the source of evil. Where are all these demons coming from? Where did that darkness come from? What is going on, guys? We're going to go find Miss Sakuya, something like that. The shop's going to be over here. We actually can have shops, which we don't. But we're going to be introduced to them later. Or we're gonna introduce ourselves to Miss Sakuya. Whatever. I can't talk Japanese names apparently. But we'll meet them later. Also, this refills ink pots. It's pretty self-explanatory. We'll meet them, and we're gonna see what's up with this evil in the next episode. So thanks for watching this LP, guys. We're starting this LP. I hope it's gonna be really fun. I hope you guys are going to enjoy it. I know I'm gonna have a lot of fun with this. It's gonna be pretty awesome. We got the map now to hand to people, so side quests begin in the first episode of Okamiden. Stay tuned, guys, for the rest of this LP. I hope you guys are going to enjoy, and yeah, all that fun stuff. We're gonna head out. The quest begins now, or next time. Yeah. See you guys later. Bye bye.